Good evening. Welcome to the September 3, 2025 Barnstable School Committee meeting. Item 1.1, District Vision and Core Values. The Barnstable Public Schools educates the whole child by creating a student-centered school culture that addresses students' physical, social, emotional, and academic needs by creating a safe and healthy learning environment in which students are challenged, supported, and engaged. Core values. In Barnstable Public Schools, we value commitment, collaboration, and community. Commitment. We are dedicated to the continuous learning and growth for all. Collaboration. We work together while keeping student needs at the center of all decision-making. Community. We build strong, respectful partnerships that support student success. Item 1.2, statement by the chair, video or audio recording of meeting. This school committee meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording the meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. Item 1.3, Pledge of Allegiance. Our Pledge of Allegiance is being led by one of our high school student envoys, Kathleen Ramos. And routine business. Item 3.1, Student Envoy Report. Hi, I'm Kathleen. Make sure your mic is on.
Perfect. Okay, sorry. I'm Kathleen, and I'm a senior at the high school, and I'm one of the student envoys. So I'm happy to be here, first of all. Thank you for having me, to be able to share some of the successes and concerns that we've had to start the school year. So first of all, it's been a very smooth transition into the school year. For as long as I know, I've had like a great transition. I'm happy to be back and see all my teachers, see all the faces that I didn't get to see over the summer. And a lot of students and staff share that same sentiment. And from a senior perspective, I'm very happy to be back at the school because it is my last year, and I'm excited to have a fun year with super fun events and stuff. So yeah. So some fundraising efforts that were pretty successful, as I'm also a class officer, so I'm pretty involved with that part of the school, just like events and stuff like that. We did have like a Panera fundraiser where we were raising money. I think it was 10% or 20% of all sales on, I forget what day it is, but from all sales at Panera did go towards the school class of 2026 fund. And then another fundraising effort that we did was the senior parking spots. We did expand that so juniors could also like buy their spots, and they could paint whatever they wanted on there. So we did make a good amount from that. And then we also did something different this year. I don't know if they did it last year, but we did this like fun little trend that's been going on. It's like senior backpacks. So seniors buy like kid backpacks and they wear it for the first few days of school. And our plan with that is to eventually collect all the backpacks and donate them to elementary schools and for those people who might not have the funds to get some. So yeah. Another success that has been viewed by students was the new furniture. I do remember that was a plan to be installed, I think, after Thanksgiving break, and it finally got into the school. So yeah, I think the new furniture has been amazing and very interesting. I think everyone would say that they like it because it's been updated, for sure. I think one concern that maybe upperclassmen had was that like the main CAF, which is for underclassmen, they got some furniture that for the outside, which they never had outside seating, so I can see how that's an upgrade. But some upperclassmen were maybe like a little peeved, I don't know, a little like not angry, but just concerned that the outside seating didn't get any updates, but I don't know. I think I heard that those were donations, but I'm not sure. So that's just one of the concerns. Another success was consistency with the school schedule. So I think this is the second year that we've had this schedule. And for me, as far as like how I feel, I think it's a great schedule. I think it's a lot more interesting to have a switch from week 1 into week 2 and have like start with different classes for each day. And it's very different because I think it's, so 2 years ago, this is like the 1 year that we've had the same schedule. I know we've had like a bunch of different schedules in the past, so I like that we're being consistent with this schedule. Yeah, and then another concern was in Barnstable High School, the 1600s hallway, which is like the math hallway, is closed down for, I don't know, fumigation. And just some people were concerned, some staff felt that because it wasn't disclosed what's going on in there, they were a little concerned just with their classes, but also maybe their safety, just in case something to do with their health. For example, one of my and it makes, and it does make it difficult for some teachers because they have to move around for their classes. So like for one of the for my AP Stats class, the teacher, she has to move around. And I know that she was supposed to, like one way it affected her, she had to change her lesson plan because I know she does something that involves the books that are in her classroom. Of course, she can't access her classroom, so she had to switch it up. So that just is one difficulty for the teachers in the 1600s hallway. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, Peter?
No, I just want to welcome you, Kathleen. That was a very thorough report for your first report, and it's always great to hear from our student envoys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What's the latest with the 1600s? Sarah?
So the service master's been in to clean the 1600s, and we are making plans with Environment to come back out and do tape testing of the surfaces. That could be done as early as Friday. And it's all related to our efforts around maintaining healthy indoor air quality, mold prevention, and also mold mitigation. We do apologize for the inconvenience to staff. Fortunately, Mr. Canetta and his team was able to find alternative locations to start the school year so we could start on time. But everything's been sealed off, really to make sure that everybody stays healthy.
Great, thank you.
Andre?
Yes, welcome, new student envoy, and that was a good report. I'm excited to hear about the fundraising efforts of our senior class early on, the parking lot and how it's been beautified, and that also reserves a parking space so you can have the morning routine that's going to put you in a good spot. I like to hear that. I was excited to see some of the backpacks via the BHS Insight. So we'll talk about that in my school committee comments, but the seniors doing that was encouraging to see. And just overall, I'm glad to hear it's been a kind of a smooth start. We're just at the beginning of the journey, but you want to get out, you want to get out with good pace. So that appears to be the case. And so thank you for your report.
Thank you.
That was an awesome report.
Thank you.
That was really, really good for you. Like I know how nerve-wracking it is. And I've been here for a long time, and every time we get new students, or even a lot of adults that come up, they get all nervous, and you probably were nervous, but you didn't show it.
Thank you.
So great job. Thank you for the update, and welcome. Welcome. We look forward to working with you. So thanks. See, I can't even do it. You did better than I. Maybe we should swap spots.
Thank you.
But awesome job.
Thank you.
Yeah, we seem to have a little echo. Is everybody who's not speaking off, Peter, are those mics to your left off? I just want to make sure I can hear. Okay. So thank you for coming. We look forward to hearing you all school year, and you did great.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you. All right, so I skipped over the highlights so that we could have the student envoy in case you have homework or something better to do, right? She doesn't know she's allowed to leave. So
Something better to do?
We're going to go back to item 2.1. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Item 2.1, which is highlight in education, and as we do every September, we are welcoming our new administrators. Sarah.
Thank you. So I would invite our new administrators to come forward and introduce themselves. We have a couple of new folks to the district, and then we also have a few people who have been in the district, but in new roles, which is very exciting. So if you'd like to come up and introduce yourselves and share a little bit about your professional background with the committee and the community, we'd love to have that.
All right. Good evening. You guys all know me. Andrew Vince. I've been around for a while, batted around in a lot of different roles. But I am now the Associate Principal for College, Career, and Technical Education at the high school. So in addition to a caseload of students in Hub 4, I'm also overseeing the pathways, kind of providing oversight, guidance, leadership, and for sustainability and growth for those. So, you know, business, finance, and entrepreneurship, CNA, environmental science and technology, engineering, computer science, culinary, education.
How about the fire one?
Well, I mean,
I'm a biased person. I get it.
No, I know. There have been some conversations about that, or EMT. So yes, I think there's a lot, and there's a lot of potential, right, for different ones. That could be fire. I know EMT. I know there's a huge need for that, especially speaking to the teacher who does the Intro to Criminal Justice class, and his connections with Hyannis Fire and the Barnstable PD. So I think that there's a lot of really great growth opportunities. I think it is. There are many, many wonderful things about the Barnstable Public Schools, but I think the pathways at the high school are one of the shining stars that I think is great to help guide students through their career at the high school, provide kind of the goalposts, if you will, at the end, even for those kids who are in one of our K-3 schools. And I think that, like, kind of part of my role is also to be working with, I've talked to Tyler Arlington, the principal of BIS, about this a little, just briefly, but kind of giving our exposure further, like with younger grades, obviously starting with BIS, but kind of like working down through there. And I think that showing the community, including the students, the wonderful things that we offer, right? I was talking to a student yesterday or today. Beginning of the school year is always crazy. But anyway, within the last couple of days, about the Environmental Science and Technology Lab and just kind of all the equipment that we have in there and the fact that, there's 5,000 gallons of water in there, right? In various tanks, apparatus, all these things that they do. And so it was this 8th grade student who was, he was a little lost. I was helping him try to find his place, find his classroom, where he was going, and just having a little chat about some stuff and what he was interested in, what he wanted to do. And I think I could see his face light up, right? The student's face light up, and that we had this opportunity. So I think that this is one of our crown jewels with the pathways and a lot of the opportunities for that. So and I very much look forward to building them out and making them sustainable and working with all of you and district and school leadership to do that work. So it'd be great. And thank you again, Peter, for being my first mentor in this district. So.
Yes, I'm like a proud father. Andrew was raw, green, a music teacher.
Music teacher in 22, yeah.
And I know absolutely nothing about music, yet somehow I was his mentor. So there you go.
But hey,
it all worked out.
It all worked out.
Yeah,
Here
that's
I am.
right.
Here we
Thank
are.
you, Andrew.
So, awesome.
You
Thank very
converted
much.
him to
Andrew,
social
before you go,
Yes, sir.
a former colleague of mine, having worked together
Yep, in the history
in
department,
the
yep.
history department, which you chaired.
Yes, I did.
And now in this new role. So that's great to see that progression, and you're going to do a great job just as you did at those other levels. I'm quite excited that you talked about the different pathways, and just my colleague talking about a potential for an EMT and fire pathway. Being on the school committee as well as being an educator, school choice is something that I'm hyper-focused on, student retention, and getting the word out about all of these opportunities right here in Barnstable. Meaning there's good schools, Upper Cape Tech's good school, okay? They have a school in Harwich, that's a good school, but you don't have to leave the district to do a lot of these tremendous things. You can sleep in your own bed, all right, and have programs similar and comparable to those. So I'm thrilled that you mentioned those. You're going to be leading them. You're going to be getting people enthusiastic and excited. The JROTC program as one of our pathways, being the lone JROTC program in the region, the only Coast Guard program in the region, So it's just, and this is right here in Barnstable. So good to see you.
Yes.
We're off to a new journey, but thank you for talking about it. And, I'm just excited because I don't know if the community, and we have our different conversations, right? They need to know it, and, you can do all those things right here in Barnstable. It's good to hear, Andrew.
Yes, exactly. Agreed. I think that's one of the best things about Pathways is that you can do it here in Barnstable.
You got a long line behind you, Andrew.
Yeah, I know. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Maura Dean. I'm the new pre-K to 7 EL department head. I've taught in Barnstable for the last 3 years as an ESL teacher. Before that, I had another 6 years of teaching in another district as ESL, and then 10 years as a second grade teacher. So very excited to be supporting our department, which has gotten quite large, and supporting the teachers with the curriculum pilots, with instructional strategies, scheduling. So I'm really looking forward to the challenges this year.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Maxwell. I'm the new Assistant Coordinator for Special Education. I'm new to the Cape and new to Barnstable. I've had a great welcome at Barnstable High School and through the district. We were summer residents, and my husband and I became empty nesters this year and moved full-time down here. So I'm super excited to be here and share my experience. I came from Newton for the last 15 years, worked in Wellesley, and various towns for a long time. I'm old, so I have a long resume. But I'm excited about the new opportunity here and to share. I work along with Megan Sharp in this role and learn a lot here about the district and share my experiences.
Welcome.
Hello. As Sarah said, I'm Megan Sharp, the other assistant coordinator for special education at the high school. This is my 3rd year in Barnstable. I spent the last 2 years teaching special education at the high school. And prior to that, I have about 20 years of experience in education in both public schools and private schools in the area. And I'm excited to enter this new role, helping staff, supporting students and families, and improving our special education system. Thanks.
Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Jean Baskin. This is my 23rd year in Barnstable. I feel like Barnstable Public Schools is a big part of my professional identity. I've been a speech-language pathologist, a school counselor, primarily focused on implementing social-emotional learning and positive behavior interventions and supports. My leadership experience is with MTSS, which is multi-tiered system of supports, and I'm really excited to bring all of that experience in my new role as an assistant principal at West Villages Elementary School with Dr. Wendy Hess, who's amazing. It's a super school, so thank you for giving me the opportunity to continue to grow in Barnstable.
Congratulations.
But you've already been here. Yeah. We'll give you a new role. How about that?
Hello, I'm Katri Mullally. I'm the Deputy Director of Facilities. You've seen me before already. I've been in the role since November, but being the new school year, Sarah felt it was appropriate for me to be here, so I just wanted to say thank you again. It has been a whirlwind of a few months, and everything's going well. We are managing a lot of different things, but it's all been good. Someone asked me just yesterday, so do you still like the job? I'm like, I love it because I love a challenge, and every day is different. It's been great being able to get to know the administrators in all the schools. As you may remember, I've been with the district for over 10 years. I was the facilities booking coordinator, so I was familiar with a lot of the staff and everything, but it's all really good, and I am looking forward to the school year. So thank you. And I want to say that my door is always open. If any questions come up to you or anyone listening, the facilities department is always open for conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, so we're now at item 3.2, public comment. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and 30 minutes total. Public comment at a Barnstable School Committee meeting is limited to Town of Barnstable residents and taxpayers, Barnstable Public Schools, employees, students, or family members. Speakers will be allowed up to 3 minutes to present their material and must begin their comments by stating their name and town. An extension of the speaker's time may be granted at the discretion of the chair. There will be no debate or no action taken on public comment items. The committee will take items under advisement, and the individual may request an item to be placed on a future agenda. The chair will also allow public comment at her discretion during the meeting. Is anybody here for public comment? All right, seeing no one, public comment is now closed. Item 3.3, School Committee Subcommittee and Liaison Reports. Facilities, Andre?
Thank you, Chair.
Was there a meeting?
No, I do have items to report. We did not meet. But on that point, Chair, thank you for asking. I reached out to my colleague, Jen, and also the superintendent who sit with me on our facility subcommittee to schedule our next meeting, hopefully in a week or two this month, as there are many items I think that we need to be discussing. Among those, I tuned into the open space and recreation meeting talking about how we're using our spaces in Barnstable. And I wanted to note that at this meeting, it was said that the pickleball courts at West Villages Elementary are the #1 used public space and recreation facility in the town. I had to confer with some of the members of the recreation committee because is that a school property? It's a school property, but it's used for recreation, open space, and it's the #1 facility in the entire town. It's something that I'm proud of, and it's one of the things that I believe we need to be discussing. Yes, our athletic fields, I know that work is being done at the United School. That field is being worked on, and people in the community have reached out to me about that, and I'm hoping the progress is going well. But I just want to continue to stay on the ball that as we're looking at all of our facilities in Barnstable, and we're looking at the possibility of building a new facility in Barnstable, possibly in Hyannis, and consolidating those two schools, I continue to follow what's going on in the town, and it's just, there's been conversation about, okay, so that one building, if it's not going to be a school, will it be housing?
Okay,
I'm just saying.
1 second, please. This is just to report on the committee, subcommittee meeting. So you can continue with that at school committee comments. And so because there was no meeting and you announced the next meeting. So if you can just hold that for the next item, that would be helpful.
Indeed, Chair.
All right. Policy Subcommittee. The Policy Subcommittee met on April 28th. It discussed Policy IKF, graduation requirements, and Policy IKFA, the competency determination. These policies are impacted by the recent DESE notices. Drafts have been created, and Sarah's been circulating those amongst the building administrators to get feedback from key people. Our next meeting will finalize those policies for the next agenda. We also began discussion on the recent DESE directive that all districts must have a middle school pathway exploration policy. Barnstable Public Schools is doing this in practice, but we don't currently have a policy, so we will need to draft one. We continue to solicit more feedback from staff and families before tackling the cell phone policy. I did receive some feedback just a few days ago. So anybody with an interest needs to communicate it to somebody on the subcommittee. The next meeting is September 26th at 8 a.m. We will work on graduation and competency determination for the October meeting. All right, so moving on to Cape Cod Collaborative. Andre?
Yes, Chair. In terms of the collaborative, I wanted to look for guidance from the committee. I am the designated representative. I conferred with they reached out essentially to all the districts going into the new year to see who the new representative, who was going to be the representative, and any other items. I did say that I'm the current representative and I'm willing to stay on going forward. There is an election in November, so my point is, if anybody wanted to join or to step in at this particular point in time, you're more than welcome. I enjoy being on the collaborative, and I'm learning a lot. So I did put forth my name to remain on the collaborative going forward, but it'll be a committee decision. So essentially, I'll be on the collaborative through November at least, and then after that, another decision can be made.
So after the election, we revisit all these. Okay. Wellness Committee, Mike?
Nope, no meeting. Usually we don't meet until probably I want to say towards the end of October, maybe even into November, just because everybody's going to get kind of established in their roles and kind of get their school year off to start before we meet. So I'll continue to tell you when we're going to meet, but it's usually not until towards the end of October, maybe even to November, because I think we only meet 3 times a year or 4 times a year. I forget. Yeah, it's either 3 or 4 times a year. So I'll notify you when we have a meeting.
And now we're at item 3.4, school committee comments, and we'll start with Peter.
Thanks, Kathy. I was working late today. You probably responded, Sarah. You know, we've been hearing some concerns about the doors at BCIS. You know, I didn't even check my phone from, I don't know, like noontime today. So was there any, they're looking for a meeting?
Sure. So I had replied back,
Okay.
happy to, initiate a health and safety meeting
Okay.
and would do so through union leadership to talk about its composition. And in the meantime, our carpenter is going to go look at the doors tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And the only other thing I want to say is I just want to say thank you to all the staff at BWB. My grandson just started kindergarten there. And I forgot how nervous one can be when a loved one goes to kindergarten. You know, the bus. Is he going to find, I don't know, what is the weird thoughts that come into your head? Is he going to find the bathroom?
You're not old enough to have a grandchild.
Yeah, my first grandchild is graduating from college this year. So, but anyways, thanks, Mike, on that one. But yeah, thanks to Ms. Hadfield, the teacher, and the rest of the staff. He said the first day, he said, school makes me very happy. I still miss you, Mom, but school makes me very happy. So there you go. Thank you, BWB.
Andre?
Chair, I did have some slides. Would you want me to do that after?
I'd like to move the slides a little bit later in the meeting since we have some guests attending and some...
No problem at all, Chair. That's fine. So let me just continue in terms of vis-a-vis facilities that I've been listening to what townspeople have been saying. You know, there is a pervasive concept that, Hyannis is bearing an undue burden when it comes to development and particularly housing, and that's something that needs to be shared amongst all of our villages. And I just wanted to make the community aware that being a member of the facility subcommittee, where we are discussing these things and trying to move the ball forward and to make sure that we have the best facilities, and to look at the possibility of a new facility and what that would take, and then what we would need to do with that additional space, that I want us to be involved in these very pertinent conversations that are taking place throughout the town, and so that we're hearing you, and we want to make sure that we make the best use of the school properties that we have. But there's again a sentiment that it needs to be shared in terms of the development, and people in Hyannis are feeling a bit stretched in.
Mike?
First of all, I just like to welcome everybody back to a new school year. It's crazy how fast this summer went by. Like, I don't know, to me, maybe it's just 'cause I'm getting old, but, well, I'm not getting old, I am old, but it just seems like this summer went by faster than all the other ones. So welcome back to a new school year. I hope everybody's having a good start to the school year. And other than that, just welcome back. That's simple.
Thank you. So one thing that I want to do is to remind everybody, and mostly the public, that there have been some school committee updates that are posted to the district page. When you scroll all the way down and it says news, there's been a blurb up there. Some people were concerned that they didn't have any idea about the cell phone, but that's been out there. So please check the district webpage and for different updates. Right after a meeting, if something of note has happened, we'll change that update, and if something happens between meetings, I'll try to keep that posted. You should also remember that minutes to all the subcommittee meetings are posted on the school committee's page. Monday, August 25th, I had the pleasure of attending Convocation and welcoming everybody back on behalf of the school committee. Students from our music department participated. Mary Barth led the 5 students with the national anthem: Delia DeYoung, Naila Guardado, Sulan Rodriguez, Alberi Norton, and Naraya Turner, and they were fabulous. It was great. And then, of course, we had the pep band under the leadership of Ian McGuire performing the school song, the Red Hawk Victory, and the energy was unbelievable in the pack. I thought it was filled with great energy, and everybody was in such a great mood, and even with the shortened summer, I think it was 1 week short, so that was terrific. I also, on that day in the evening, attended the MASC District 7 virtual roundtable. It was a follow-up to the Charting the Course, which is a training that every school committee member goes through, and it provided the opportunity in a Q&A format on the various roles and responsibilities of school committee members and how to best manage them in real time. The session was recorded, as all the MASC webinars are, and so the links are on the MASC website, and I think it will provide some clarification to the role of the school committee members, as some of the topics were relevant to our recent discussions. September 24th, the superintendent and I have a meeting scheduled with the town manager and the leadership of the town council. As directed in our workshops, we've started that ball rolling. After reading the district vision and seeing all the different administrative leadership changes that have occurred since our superintendent joined us, I think now might be a good time to maybe revisit the vision, just to take a look at it and make sure that it's in line with our vision of a graduate. I know you start at the top of the vision and then do the vision of the graduate, but that's been around for a while, and I just think maybe if you can grab some leadership, and maybe the school committee's interested in just taking a look at it. Seems like there's a run-on sentence there. So that's what triggered my memory. We had vocation where I work, and we had a fabulous guest speaker, and now isn't the time to share that. But there were 3 quotes, and I'll only share one of them since I was the longest here tonight. I think it's so appropriate for our students. Education is a journey. Students should enjoy the journey because that's where the education comes from. I think we all know that, but senior year, when the students go into their senior year and they're so worried about their college applications and what they're going to do afterwards, and students who aren't planning on a post-secondary education but entering the job market could be even more fearful. Just take a step back and realize that, you know, all the learning that comes, the journey is what is really important. And then that's it. So I'll move on to item 3.5, Superintendent Report. Sarah?
Thank you. Given the extent of our agenda and that we have met recently, my report is a little shorter than usual, but I do have a few things to share with the committee and the community this evening. First off, I want to congratulate Laura Oliveira and Shreya GC. They were selected as 2 winners from over 200 entries as part of the Steamship Authority's Student Art Contest. They are now in grade 6 at BIS, but they entered the contest last year as 5th graders from Ms. Ray's classroom. Your former teacher and your district are certainly proud of you. Congratulations. I also want to extend a congratulations to Barnstable Intermediate School teacher Mike Andrews. He was recently awarded a $5,000 grant from the Massachusetts Cultural Council. This grant will provide school-wide access to a technology-based app called Storyboard That for this year. The grant supports bringing in a local graphic memoirist to run workshops for students on all teams and arranges for a guest author talk. It's a language arts and visual arts hybrid experience where students are being exposed to the power of the graphic novel, which is a very popular and accessible genre for middle school students. Many of them choose graphic novels as a choice reading book. However, they don't understand the nuance and power in the choices made by the authors and the artists when creating them. As part of these lessons, the students in these classes will craft digital art memoirs, kind of similar to the tiles that they produced at the Coeur d'Alene related to their personal narratives last year. The project engages both written art, graphic design, and cartoon drawing. And using a graphic novel as a vehicle for delivering the lessons, teachers will also explore literary themes and topics, while the artists can explore how to use visualization to aid understanding. So congratulations to Mike Andrews and members of the staff and students at BIS. And I'll conclude just by sharing, I think we had a great start to 25-26. There are always a few hiccups at the beginning of the year. On the one hand, for example, we have a beautiful new parking lot and curbage at Hyannis West and the Early Learning Center. We are working out a few kinks as it relates to dismissal from our preschool, but everybody's pitching in, communicating, and working together to try to keep things running as smoothly as possible. I want to thank teachers, staff, families, students, our facilities team, food services, transportation, administration, and the Family and Community Engagement Center for collaborating and making the opening of the school year a huge success. Yes, the summer did go by quickly. It was a few weeks shorter than we typically see. We started on the earliest possible day that we could. I want to give a huge shout out to our Human Resources Department. Their work often goes unseen, but they have been just as you might imagine, exceedingly busy with the hiring season. And so now is a good time to thank members of the team related to all things applications, postings, recommendations to hire, getting people onboarded as quickly as possible, answering questions, particularly about benefits, and even making some housing matches or taking inquiries related to housing for people who are looking to relocate. So their work is often unseen, but we do greatly appreciate the efforts as we staff up for the year. And that's what I have.
Questions, comments? Andre?
Yes, I just had a question related to the school profile that you sent out leading up to this meeting. It seems a concise document in terms of a lot of what's going on, to kind of seeing the seal of biliteracy, our advanced placement courses, dual enrollment, so on and forth. How is this being disseminated, or has it been disseminated within the district?
Sure. So the school profile is very intentionally a concise document that gets shared beyond the high school, in particular with colleges that students would be applying to. And all schools have one, and it gives colleges really the highlights and kind of a very concise picture of the highlights of the school.
Indeed. Again, I found it to be informative. Will the parents at the high school be... do they get this as a part of their newsletter, just to understand, or is it more?
I'd have to ask, but I'm happy to ask Mr. Canetta how either the guidance department or the administration disseminates it.
Because again, I'm seeing just among the highlights that you noted in terms of our class acceptances, the list is going on and on. They had to use the small print here in terms of all the schools that our students have received admittance to. So it was a good document and very informative. And I just was wondering.
Can I actually just jump in? How about even like our 6-7 building? Like more than the high school, those kids are already picked.
Exactly.
I mean, kind of go where you're going, but kind of like the high school have already picked our school.
Yeah.
Or granted to keep them here, I get it, but like also maybe like down to the 6-7 level, like or at least especially the 7th grade. Being tugged in different directions.
It's great feedback. I've got a newsletter going out. I'd be happy to attach it, and we can send it out to the entire district. It does reside on our website, but happy to attach it there.
Sounds good.
Mike?
Oh, I'm all set. Thank you. Excellent. Good report. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Item 3.6, Assistant Superintendent's Report. Kristen.
Thank you. I have one item tonight. I wanted to just share out regarding our upcoming professional development in service day. So we have our first staff in service day scheduled for next week, Friday, September 12th. So as a reminder, this is a half day for students. Staff will be engaged with professional learning sessions during the second half of the day after the students have left. So we have two key areas of focus for this year's professional development. Our classroom teachers at the secondary level, grades 6 through 12, will be participating in a PD series we've titled Improving Student Learning Outcomes Through High-Quality Instructional Practices. And the professional development will be facilitated by consultants from Athena K-12. They'll be working with BIS and BHS staff during the September, January, and March in-service days. So September will be really the kickoff. Our classroom teachers at the elementary level, pre-K to 5, will be participating in their own PD series, supporting multilingual learners through effective Tier 1 instruction. That title might sound familiar because this was the same PD that was provided to our BIS and BHS staff last year. It, of course, has been adjusted to reflect the elementary level. And so they'll be working with our pre-K 5 staff during the September, November, February, and March in-service days. And for both PD focus areas, school and district leaders will be working with their respective consultants. I think I might have glossed over that. TNTP will again be providing that professional development for supporting multilingual learners. Grades are 6 through 12 leadership will be working with the Athena K-12 consultants, and the pre-K 5 leadership will be working with TNTP consultants during our monthly BDLT meetings, leadership meetings. And during this time, they will be working with leaders to ensure that we, as school and district leaders, have the tools to reinforce and support educators in the implementation of their professional learning series, respective series. This was a model that we used last year to have that kind of iteration of PD with staff, supporting leaders, and then continuing that cycle. And so we're happy that we're able to continue this as the year, for this year, to provide that coherence and consistency as it relates to professional development. And that's all I have today.
Questions, Peter? Andre? Mike? Okay, thank you. New business, item 4.1, field trip to France, April 2026.
I am sorry, but I don't see the staff members here who are sponsoring.
Yeah, she is. Mimi's
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
She's quiet.
Yeah, she was sitting over there nice and quiet. And
Good evening, everyone.
good evening.
Hope you're all well. Thank you so much for having me tonight. And on behalf of Fadner Pierre, he is not here with us because he is coaching a soccer game at Boston Latin tonight, so let's hope they won. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank you again for mentoring me 14 years ago.
Wow, jeez.
Even though
I
you
think
didn't speak French.
to know Peter is to know somebody important. I'm thinking here.
Thank you, Mimi. You were a very easy person to mentor. You got it right away.
Oh, thank you. It's a great pleasure for me to be here, and it has been indeed a really, really smooth and great start of the school year. After all the years I've been at the school, I can vouch to that as a teacher. I'm here representing the Foreign Language Department and presenting an international travel proposal to you tonight. So the destination in France is in a town of Saumur, which is in the Loire Valley. It also includes a couple of days, 2 days in Paris. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold here. The dates are from Friday, April 3rd to Sunday, April 12th, and that does not interfere with MCAS, as during that period it is MCAS, but for the 8th graders. The students will depart from Boston and arriving in Saumur, France. They will complete a 7-day homestay with their correspondence French family. And following those 7 days, we travel with them, Fadner and I, and if there's a third coordinator, we go to Paris and spend 2 days in Paris and visiting all the major sites and monuments in the city of Paris. Many of you are familiar with. And then we return to Boston on April 12th, which is a Sunday. Sorry, I'm just reading highlights here. Quoted rates, it always depends on the amount of students that we have. Usually for these trips, trips to France, we usually have between 15 and 20. So just to give you an idea, we kind of think that it's probably going to be around 18, but it might be 20. So depending on the amount, the latest quotation from the Promotour Educational Travel Agency is between $2,500 to $3,200. And that includes the 10 days of travel, airfare, lodging, breakfast, dinners, medical insurance, excursion, all transportation. And we're also able to do an activity, an event at the school to raise money, to be able to give them some spending money to make sure they bring nice gifts back to their parents. The travel arrangements are done with a company we've been working with for over 25 years, Promotour Educational Travel Agency, like I mentioned. They specialize in this kind of travel, and they also coordinate with the school in Saumur, all of the host family. So they kind of do that. We do a double check as well. We make sure that it's a good fit. And now with technology being so open and available, our students get to actually meet and greet their family before they meet them in person. And it's a fun experience because when they get off the bus, they know who everyone is. It's a bit surreal, but it is what it is. It's fun. So who are those students that are going to be coming on this trip? They are AP students. Most of them will be, actually all of them will be graduating as well this year. There are French 4 student, which is actually a very big class this year, and French 3, which I am the teacher, and teaching to 2 class of French 3, and it's a full 2 classes. It's very, very active, and they're very excited about doing this trip. Additionally, what we do to prepare them on a monthly basis, the first thing we do once we have had the meeting with you tonight and knowing if this trip is approved, then we start right away meeting with the parents. So we basically do that, so to break the ice and make sure that we answer all their questions. We usually get a full room of parents, make sure that they have notepads, they take a lot of notes, and we give them all the information they need. And usually that night or the next few days, we have parents that are already putting in deposits. So it happens fairly quickly. What happens after with the students, coordinators, I'm talking about Fadner, myself, and if there's another teachers joining us for this trip, depending on the ratio of students, we meet with the students every month. So they have to do research on the different areas and places that we will be traveling, and so they are prepared before we're actually going there. The ratio for chaperones is 1.8, and so if we have 20 students, that would make it 3, I believe. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong. That's about it. So if I talk a little bit also about conduct and international travel. Prior to the trip, students will sign a conduct contract which reinforces the BHS Code of Conduct as defined in the student handbook. I also want you to know that this will be, in the 14 years I've been at the school, I've been working with Fadner Pierre for all those years, and this will be our 7th trip together with student, Canada, and France. So it's always such a privilege and an honor to travel with him and students. I feel safe, actually, even though I'm one of the... And so, you know, we have our strength. We just really understand each other as teachers, as adults who are responsible for teenagers, and it just works really well. So, and we've had pretty much all the little things that can happen on trips with students, and you know, it's always very smooth. So, and yes, and the students really trust, and they feel safe with us, and you know, and you have to realize also these students have known us for 3 to 5 years. So typically, you know, the students that are in my French 3 class, well, they've known me. This is the 2nd year in a row. So they just come into class and they're just like, okay, what are we doing next, Mimi? So, you know, and it's the same for Fadner. He sees them at French 1, and then he sees them in French 4 and AP. So there's that, those are, you know, 2 or 3 years of building those relationships between a teacher, an adult, and a teenager that went from 8th grade to senior graduating. So if that means anything, I think for us it does mean, you know, a lot, actually. As teacher, we feel actually privileged because I know a lot of teachers, they get to see students for 1 year. And so there we go. It is definitely directly connected to the curriculum standards. International travel, as you know, contributes to the World Language Department objective that students are able to communicate competently in a second language. And it's definitely aligned with the Massachusetts foreign language standards. I'm open to questions now.
Great, thank you. Questions, Jen? Peter?
Really, I just want to thank you, Mimi, for all your hard work, your preparation here, and your past trips, I hear, are great successes. And also, it's great to hear 2 French 3 classes are full.
Yes.
That's fabulous,
yeah,
Mimi.
So we got good numbers. I'm
yeah,
really
must
happy.
Must be good teachers.
And we have 4 really big French 1 classes.
Oh, that's terrific.
So we have this year Ms. Gray, who's also teaching French. She is a Latin teacher, great teacher.
Oh, good.
I'm so
Terrific.
happy she's back helping us. And Monsieur Pierre has 3. And, you know, there's like over 25 students in each class. So
That's terrific.
And that's good for us because it tells us, you know, yes, the French department, yes. So, like we say, it's like a little community we have. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Andre?
Yeah, glad to hear the program is growing and expanding with the younger kids coming in. Just a few questions. I was interested if these seniors, are they applying to schools overseas as well as schools within the United States? You said you've been doing this for over a decade. Do you see that amongst the students that take this trip to say, you know, I'll apply to university, you know, overseas? Isn't that
Yes.
something that I'm interested in?
I have a lot of stories I can share. It would take too long for tonight, but I will share you something that we try to encourage them, that if they really, really want to keep the foreign, the second or third, now it's like third language in their lives, we try to encourage them, if it's possible, to pick a university where they have a broad program, like UMass, what is it called? The university? Yeah, sorry, I'm a little tired. UMass Hammers, yes, a lot of A. But anyway, they have a great international program. The students can choose to, even let's say they study in law or business, they can choose to study 1 year at the University of Paris, 1 semester, 1 year, 2 semester. They stay in a family at no extra cost. They just have to pay for their airline tickets, and a lot of time they get a grant they can apply for a grant at the college. Now there's other colleges, and we have a list in our classroom. So our seniors, when they're making their choices, you know, we tell them, this is a list of all the university in the U.S. that offers opportunities for international studying, you know, whether it's a fellowship, it's during your study there, or it's maybe a summer, you know, a summer work in France. I mean, there's also like in Milan and so on and so forth. But yes, we are able to provide a list of that. Now, as far as international studying, the only ones really that I've seen is McGill University. We have more and more students who have been, we have actually 2 or 3 last year of our seniors that are now at McGill, which I don't know if you know, but I am from Montreal, so I'm really happy. I used to have my office right across the street from McGill, so.
That's great to hear. I'm glad the students
yeah.
are seeing those international
Yes.
opportunities, and this trip is
Yes.
something of a capstone
Yes.
for the program. As you start as a freshman, you look forward to say,
Yes.
this is something that I can achieve my senior year, so they see that vision ahead of them, and then their options after graduation beyond that. So great to hear.
Also, you know, the host family experience, they are I would say 80% of the time, they're making a friend for life, or for a good part of their life. So their family come here, they go over there. I mean, there's like this exchange of friendship beyond the school. It changes their lives, I can tell you.
Mike?
Excellent job. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you're obviously doing a heck of a job in all foreign languages, but French, because you have that many kids that want to take it. I mean, kids are going to take what they are interested in, and you're doing, obviously, offering great classes, so that's a kudos to both of you. Unfortunately, now you have so many kids that want to do it that now you're, I'm sure, getting tired because you have full classes and all of that. But to me, that's a kind of a feather in your cap that how great you two are doing. You know what I mean? I just have one question for you, Sarah. Is this gone through Dave Anthony and that whole route that we have to go through and the attorneys and all of that?
It's gone through an initial review with Dave. I would ask that you approve it contingent upon his final approval.
Okay,
But he and I
everything was
have
fine.
had everything's initially fine.
I'm sure because
but-
you've done the same trip and you've done this. It's not like you guys are new. This has been going on for years. So I assumed it was, but I just felt like I always had to ask. Other than that, I'm all for it. Have fun. And if you need another chaperone, I'm volunteering.
Do you speak French?
No, sorry.
actually
My
do.
grandparents were all from Montreal, so
Oh,
they
wow.
did. So I grew up with it, but I've forgotten it by now.
Yeah, this is little known, but we do have a few teachers at our school that are not in the world language department who are fluent in French, by the way. We have at least 3.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
So much, Mike.
All right, I got to make the motion. Move to approve a field trip to France in April 2026 as presented in tonight's materials.
I'll second.
Have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Item 4.2, introduce Pierce-Cote. Sarah?
Thank you. So we have some guests here this evening who are we are developing a new relationship with relation to public relations and media services. Would invite you to come up. We have Brad Schiff, Jeff Spillane, and Mike DeFina from Pierce-Cote or Pierce-Cote?
Pierce-Cote.
Pierce-Cote. They're out of Osterville with a parent company in Boston and have recently, as of July 1st, been contracting with us for media relations. I spoke about the training that Kathy, Jason, and I attended related to crisis communication, and there's more planned ahead. Fred?
There is. Good evening, everybody, and we're very excited to be working with Sarah and the administrative team this year in a communications capacity. I'm also just very proud to tell you that I'm a member of the Monomoy Regional School Committee, where I'm serving as vice chair this year. I'm sitting.
You understand the plight.
I do, and I've got our kickoff tomorrow night for the fall. Anyways, as Sarah said, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about our agency. As Sarah said, we're in Osterville, just across town. We are the largest full-service marketing communications firm on Cape Cod and the islands. Actually, we're the largest south of Boston. We have clients that range from for-profit, nonprofit, many municipalities, so we understand, dealing with the towns and the counties. We're also very involved with Barnstable County, some of their services and departments as well. And we're involved in everything from advertising through all digital and social media, and what we're particularly focused on here, working with Sarah, is going to be public relations and crisis communications. I want to have Jeff Spillane talk a little bit about what it is we're going to be doing over this next year with Sarah and the team.
Hey, good evening. Looking forward to working with the Barnstable Public Schools. I've spent a lot of time in this room in the past, and so there are a few familiar faces here tonight after covering the town of Barnstable for 6 years for the Cape Cod Times. So it's good to be back. And having covered Barnstable Public Schools, I know firsthand all of the great things that are happening in this district and what a wonderful organization it is. So moving forward, we look forward to telling those good stories, going to meet everyone in the school. In fact, we're going to be at the library at the high school tomorrow morning to meet the department heads, and working closely with Sarah and her team to really learn about everything that is happening and that we need to communicate out there that is going to be good for the school, as well as some challenges that you may encounter along the way, because as we all know, consistency of messaging is so very important. So look forward to working with everyone here, and we're already underway. And tomorrow we'll be there at the high school again. So,
Are there any questions that we can answer for you?
Jen?
A comment, not a question. It's nice to see Jeff Spillane again. He was the only reporter from the Cape Cod Times that would call me to ask me about my precinct ever. And I think that the loss is probably still felt, that they're in the Cape Cod Times, that you're not there any longer. So I valued your fair and equal reporting, and I look forward to working with you. It's great news that you guys are on board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. Welcome, fellow school committee member with the Sharks, and this is something that I'm excited about. Just conferring with Dr. Ahern and just knowing how to tell our story. And I'm confident you guys will do a great job. But that was something for me coming on to the school committee, and particularly in the era that we live in of school choice. And just in terms of letting people know what you have to offer, and then just addressing the issues. It has to be something proactive. It most certainly can't be reactive, because a lot of times then those decisions have been made and they're on their way elsewhere. So welcome to the district, and I'm excited about this opportunity.
And you're absolutely right. It's very key to be very proactive. It's very important to be able to control the narrative. Otherwise, the narrative can control you.
Mike?
It's funny, Jen, I literally saw Jeff outside as we were walking in, and I literally said almost verbatim what you just said to him. You got a great person in Jeff Spillane. He was, having been on the school committee for 10 years and being the chair for 4. I talked to Jeff a lot, and he was fair. Just great person, and I so happy when Sarah said your name. I was like, yep, let's go. Yep, that's where we're going to need to go. So literally, you've got a great person there. He knows the town. He knows the political climate. He knows everything about the town, and he's, as far as I'm concerned, very ethical. And that's literally, I can't say enough about him. So welcome to you too. But Jeff, welcome. Nice to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I also wanted to mention that Mike DeFener is here as well. So you'll be hearing from Mike and meeting with Mike as well as we move forward. But thank you so much, and thank you for the kind words.
Good night. And Sarah, we'll see you tomorrow in the library at the high school.
Item 4.3, accept school committee's 5-year roadmap. So, Jen, do you want to set the stage, or?
Sure. So there were a few meetings where the school committee gathered to talk about a loosely knit strategic plan, just kind of to align our priorities, to create a roadmap for Sarah to follow, because there wasn't one. And I think we had some really lively and great conversation. It was led by Abby Fulham at CBI, the Consensus Building Institute. And I thought the conversations were frank and well thought out arguments, and nice to see everybody thinking along future lines, if not the same lines. At least we were all thinking about 5 years down the road. So it was really good for, I think it was a great exercise for us all to kind of flesh out what happens in Barnstable in 5 years, and then in 10 years. And then I hope that we can keep the ball rolling, and always keep the future in our sights. And I think it'll help us be, more proactive than reactive, and really build a better district. So this document is the sum total of what we discussed. We've all had a chance to review it. To me, it reflects what was said in the meeting pretty fairly, and that's it. Thank you.
Peter?
I think this roadmap does a very good summary of what it is that we set out to do. I think it's well written. The only question, and I don't know whether I'm being too picky or not about this, is when it started off with the strengths category. I wasn't even sure this was necessary. At least the way I was thinking a roadmap is where we're going. And then the strengths listed were diversity and exceptional staff and comprehensive support. And I just thought those were meh. They just seemed obvious to me. I was thinking if we have to list strengths, then maybe we say something like, our school system offers the greatest variety of courses on Cape Cod, or we're the largest, most diverse community in the Cape with the greatest offerings to students, some way to word it like that. Or as Andre noted earlier, like a certain percentage of our graduates go off to, a secondary school or military or whatever. I don't know. It's just... I'm not even sure it's needed, but if it stays there, I could certainly live with it as well. So that's my only thought.
Andre?
Yeah, for me, it was good to participate in the meetings over the summer. I do feel the document addresses a number of components in the district that we're focused on. It's good for the community to see that this is who we are, this is how we operate, this is how we intend to move forward. All of those things I'm in agreement with. The wording, I think it passed the test. The thing that, for me, kind of sticks out is the implementation part, that's where I have my concerns in that, it says the superintendent and the school committee chair will create an implementation plan for this roadmap with specific actions, roles, and timelines. Again, this is something that was birthed out of the goals subcommittee, and everyone has their different feelings on this, and they have a right to. This is how I feel about it. Just being on the school committee when I came on, it was subcommittees, that would oversee certain things. I started off on the culture and climate subcommittee. Again, I was new, so it had been there, and they were there was a question about, what direction it should go, and they were focused on, when I came on the school committee, were focused on the vision statement because that had been the previous charge, and went back and forth. Eventually, that subcommittee was disbanded. I had no problem staying on, but that was the decision of the majority. My point is, I feel that a document like this should be under the purview of a subcommittee. That's my feeling. Again, people have their different feelings, and we're supposed to have different feelings because we're different people. And then we go ahead and vote on it. But I just wanted to note, whether we need a further subcommittee. That's something that I'd be in favor of. I thought the goals subcommittee should stay. My colleagues felt differently. You go with the vote and you move on. But I just wanted to note that I've only been on the school committee for 4 years, but I followed the school committee for a number of years. So in my understanding, a lot of times it's been subcommittees which oversee, again, this is the district roadmap for 5 or 10 years. I just feel it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to vote against it, but that's a reservation that I most certainly have, right? When we've made momentous decisions in this town, it's been subcommittees that walked us through the process to provide the information to the school committee for an overall vote. I'm currently on one subcommittee. I don't have a problem sitting on subcommittees overall, but that's something the superintendent and the school committee chair are gonna go over this implementation plan. If you want more on your plate to do it, that's fine. But I'm just going forward, and as the committee goes forward, and as I remain on the committee, that's be something that I'm going to be looking at. Is maybe this roadmap will fall under the purview of a subcommittee going forward.
Mike?
So I'm okay with, first of all, it was good. I'll be honest with you, at the beginning, I was a little like, another thing about talking about how we're going to go with the roadmap. I've been on so many of these in my last 10 years. But I honestly think this was a good one. And one of the things I think is the longer I'm on here is school committee members come and go. And it's good to have something in writing to kind of like, because people, when I got on 10 years ago, none of those people are here. None of those people have been here for a while. I'm the only one left from 10 years ago. So it's good. And Jen, you spent a lot of time on the town council, so that's why I'm sure you brought this forward. It's good to have something in writing to kind of like the folks after us that take over the gauntlet, like whenever we come and go, it's kind of in writing so they can kind of see this is where we're supposed to be 5 years and 10 years down the road. So I think it was actually a really good exercise. And it wasn't like, to me, it wasn't anything that we haven't talked about. It was more or less putting it in writing. We've never, we didn't have it in writing. So now it's in writing, and school committees in the future can look at this and be like, okay, do we want to tweak it? Because at one point, we had goals, and at one point we had a whole bunch of workshops, and we came up with goals. It was probably about 6 years ago. And we came up with goals, and they were in writing. And I don't know, Andre, if this would help you with that. What we did with that is we didn't have a subcommittee for the goals, and it was just, this is called the roadmap. That was called school committee goals. But what we did is we had it, and I'm not willing to put it in tonight. I think this is fine for tonight, but maybe at a different meeting, we should maybe put something in about these get revisited the October school committee meeting. You know what I mean? And that's what we did with the goals. Because what the concern is these are going to sit on the shelf, and they're going to just gather dust. And in 5 or 10 years, people are going like, wow, I never realized there was a roadmap. You know what I mean? So maybe it's something that we, like I said, I would be in favor of voting this tonight, but maybe we can do something where we have a check-in every November meeting or summer meeting even
You should just make a motion for that. I'd support that.
Yeah, like maybe, but I'm thinking maybe like a summer meeting when we don't have a lot going on, like do it in the summer. Like, would that work for you, Andre? Would that kind of like, without doing a subcommittee, just kind of make sure we kind of look at these once a year?
That's exactly what I was saying.
Okay.
You know, for the broader committee to look at this, so having it on the agenda, you know.
Yeah,
in
like
certain
it's on
increments.
every July or whatever, when there's not a lot going on, we're looking for stuff to put on the agenda, it can be kind of put there. So kind of get an update.
Right.
Of where we're at. Does everybody kind of agree with that?
I think that's great.
Okay.
Likewise.
So, do you want me to make oh, actually, I haven't. Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm in agreement with Peter. I think the roadmap is laying out where we need to go. We took a look, basically did a SWOT, took a look at our strengths, our weaknesses, what we needed to do to improve. And I can say this because I wrote that paragraph. So I can say I really don't think it belongs in the document, but I was directed to write something. And then after seeing the sheet that came out today with the statistics, I went with last year's numbers. So I made a correction on my copy because it isn't 42%, it's 38.3. But I really think that a more condensed statement, I liked how I was typing as you said, our school system offers a great variety of courses on Cape Cod, and I know the leadership's goal is improving instruction, and we all care about our achievement of our students. So I think that falls more in line with where we're trying to head with all the curriculum changes and strengthening that and trying to get our students to have better success. So I don't know if somebody wants to make a friendly amendment. I think if we took a look at that paragraph and said our district's greatest strengths lie in its rich diversity, exceptional staff, and comprehensive support, and as the most diverse district on Cape Cod,
The largest
we
and most
offer
diverse,
the
yeah.
greatest variety of courses or something like that, Peter.
I'll
So-
make a friendly amendment if that's what's needed.
So I'm just going to type as you
All right.
talk, so
I would say we are the largest and most diverse community on the Cape with the greatest offerings to course offerings to students. Yeah, something like that.
Course offerings and opportunity. Just because there's more than just courses, there's
Okay.
pathways, there's sports, there's all kinds of other stuff maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm fine with course offerings and opportunities to students.
for students.
For students, yes. I think that just speaks better, and it sums it up in one sentence, I think.
So then we'll strike the whole second paragraph and replace that with, we are the largest and most diverse school system on the Cape, on Cape Cod. And get rid of the, on Cape Cod, with the most course offerings, with the greatest course offerings.
And opportunities.
And opportunities for students. So the wording again, we would need a motion
So
to
he-
amend.
So he made the motion, I'll second it.
All right, and so there's a motion to strike the second paragraph and replace the language with, we are the largest and most diverse school system on Cape Cod with the greatest course offerings and opportunities for students?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, so that is replaced. And now we're
Can I
going
make
to
another
vote.
motion? Can I make another motion?
Sure.
Can I just offer one point before we make another
Yeah.
motion? I just wanted to say that one of the things I really wanted with this document, and I think we have it, is what you were saying, continuity through changes in the school committee membership, but also kind of a backstop for Sarah, because she cannot be judged negatively now on things that we made a priority. And I mean, I think that shows that we support her and trust her judgment. And if we continue to do this every July, I think that we are a real team. And that was like one of the real reasons why. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
I think it's also important because this provides the guidance for the district improvement plans and
We're all on the same page.
everything. So everybody's on the same page there. So any other, Mike, did you have another change?
Yeah, Andre, do you know what section that's in? Because I didn't, do you know, do you want to make the motion?
Implementation?
Yeah, do you want to make the motion and just make it for every July, we get like an update or something?
I'm not sure that the document needs to state, if you remember when we did the goals before, we did report on them. The progress was reported periodically as progress, and then when we accomplished the goals, they weren't long-term, they were more of an annual
Well, there was
goal.
some that were 2 to 3 years.
Some were
There
2 to 3,
ones- some
and then
for-
you'll see it, it's still on the website. The final report is on the website.
My
So-
concern is that we need to just kind of get an update every once in a while. I'm concerned that this is going to sit on the shelf for 5 years, and we're going to come and go, and no one's even going to know it's there. So not that it's like punitive by any means. I just think we should get an update once a year of like, yeah, like this is kind of what we're working on. This is like just a simple update. Doesn't have to be anything.
Right, so I think a separate motion after, if it passes, after it passes, a separate motion that says that states.
We'll get updates.
that
So
we'll
I'll
get
make a
the
motion that we
updates.
get updates on
Well, we can't have a motion in the middle of a motion to approve. We need to do the. No, we did a motion to amend the document.
okay.
So now we need to approve the document, then we can make a motion regarding the updates. So I'm not trying to squash
Okay,
the
that's fine. That's
updates, I
fine.
believe
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need.
Yeah, okay. However you want to do it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor to accept the Barnstable School Committee roadmap, and it was seconded.
Seconded.
So any more discussion? All right. So having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And then now, if you'd like to make your motion regarding the reporting and the updating and follow-up.
I'll make a motion that we get an update every July school committee meeting on the roadmap
I'll
and its
second.
implementation.
I'll second that.
Okay. Having a discussion?
It's a great idea. I love it.
Anybody else? Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. The one thing that I do want to say about the implementation is I think there was a question about who. And so as a reminder, it's at the top of our agenda. That's new, right? Every day there's something new on the agenda. That came out of the District 7 roundtable, that we should have that visible for the public and for us as a reminder of our duties. We oversee the budget, so we can help implement this by overseeing the budget, keeping an eye on the policies, and evaluating the superintendent. But when it comes to the operation of the schools, that's outside of us. So we do not become involved in the day-to-day implementation, which is why having the, I believe that at our second workshop, there was a table of what was in the document and who's responsible, whether it's school committee. Remember, that's what we were talking about with the implementation, the action plan part of it. So that action plan is going to help with the reporting and keeping everybody updated and making sure that we're on track for staying on this roadmap. Okay. All right, moving to the next agenda. We are at item 4.4, approve the district improvement plan. Is that here? Where are we? Sarah.
Great, thank you. So I want to thank the committee for codifying direction in the roadmap. I think you'll see elements of the roadmap reflected in here already as part of the district improvement plan. Many of the initiatives have already been discussed, particularly through our your budgeting process. I preview this with the staff at Convocation, and I prefaced it this year with some of the highlights from your roadmap, just again to sort of share your priorities and to identify the ways in which we're working together as a team, and I think it's really powerful. So the district improvement plan picks up where we left off last year, and I will be sharing evidence towards my evaluation at an upcoming meeting related to last year's goals, but many of them were accomplished leading to this plan. So we ground it in the vision and core values, and certainly if the committee wants to take a look at the vision statement, we can do that going forward. And we also ground our work in our vision of a graduate related to students developing as inner explorers, knowledge seekers, adaptive thinkers, and thoughtful communicators, as well as action takers. And there are 2 of our graduates of the class of 2025 as they walked through the halls of Hyannis West last year. We have 4 strategic objectives that ground our district improvement plan. This is the 3rd year that we will have these objectives leading this plan, and one goal that I have is to do a more comprehensive kind of evaluation of the plan to determine whether or not we need to make adjustments of these going forward. But they are grounded in the findings from my first year here when I started in the district. So our first goal is related to a culture of belonging, a safe and inclusive climate, and a shared vision of student success. If the committee would like to look at our district vision, this is where that initiative would fall. But we continue to use data from the Youth Truth Survey to develop positive school cultures. We did that for the 2nd year last year, and each school improvement plan will incorporate some element of the Youth Truth data from staff, students, and families around developing positive school culture. Clarifying the district's instructional vision and incorporating the vision of a graduate with our evaluators and leadership team, as well as our educators, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to Goal 3 related to professional development. We will have joint labor management teams with our union leadership. We had originally planned for them last year, but by mutual agreement postponed them until this year to discuss career ladders, in particular for administrative assistants and paraprofessionals. And I've added apprenticeship programs because we've talked about that, especially as it relates to the facilities department. And then a joint labor management team related to student dysregulation and how we are working with students with challenging behaviors. And it comes at a really important time because there's new regulations coming from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education related to seclusion. Continuing to collaborate with families and community organizations, in particular, strengthening our community mentor program across the district. We talked a lot about that in particular in the spring as the budget was developing. Growing our student mentor program. You have recently approved job descriptions for trainee mentors, so recent graduates to continue working with our younger students. And then we have a professional development series planned with Suffolk University for deepening community building and restorative practices. Our community mentors are well-versed in this, but this would extend to some faculty and staff. And we have recently been awarded hate crime prevention grant from the Department of Education to support this work. Looking to collaborate with agencies through the Director of Health Services to expand healthcare access for our students. There has been some outreach by Duffy Health Centers to assist with that. We continue to reinforce and enhance school safety practices with our school partners. So we talked about what we did for the summer leadership retreat, focusing on reunification with our first responder partners. Implementing the standard response protocol with students, staff, and with families. Strengthening cybersecurity measures. We will need to implement multi-factor authentication and some personal device policies to strengthen those measures as an expectation of our cybersecurity insurance. And then we have some facilities projects related to security cameras, PA systems, double locked doors where feasible. That's been implemented at the high school, for example, to enhance school safety. And then lastly, I've included in here evaluating our district improvement plan, being sure that it incorporates elements of your roadmap, and then evaluating the goals and establishing a new 3-year district improvement plan at the end of the year. Big focus will continue to be on curriculum and instruction. And I think one of the biggest initiatives is our ongoing curriculum review cycle. So we'll be going into year 3 for early literacy, which is really a monitoring year, but also one of continued implementation and support for our K-5 staff. Year 2 will be math and health and wellness as they implement new materials and new curriculum at those district-wide for health and wellness in grades 6 through 12 for math, and initiating year 1 review in K-5 math, which you are aware of, and you are also we're also doing ELA, which came about this summer. We were going to postpone ELA for financial reasons, but we actually have received a 4-year grant through the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education called PRISM 3. It's kind of like the GLEAM grant, but for the older students, and so we'll be able to do that curriculum review as well. We are continuing to get support from DESE on MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support, that you heard Jean Baskin talk about earlier, where we are working towards a comprehensive framework by August of next year. Looking to establish an AI task force to really become more proactive in its use in the district, identifying both opportunities while also limiting and hedging against risks that may exist, both for usage with students and with our staff. And we've implemented some new guidelines and some new handbook language to that end so far. And continue to improve in targeted areas. So we are anticipating that the comprehensive DESE district review report will be in our hands later this fall, and that there will be some recommendations that we choose to implement from there. We know that we will be up for tiered focused monitoring Part B soon. We did Part A last year, which was around special education and English language learning and civil rights. Part B is compliance in some other areas, including things like professional development. That's the one that stands out to me right now. But we'll be doing a focused review, another focused review of the Department of Ed. And while we've reviewed many of our special education programs, the initiative that I'm proposing this year is to conduct a review of our alternative learning programs, Project Excel and ACE. ACE is going into its 4th year, and it has had some strengths, and also there were a few years where it's been hard to establish. So getting some consulting in to take a look at our alternative learning programs, give us a sense of their efficacy, but also doing a needs assessment as well. I think that there may be some students who could use yet another kind of alternative opportunity that we may not be presenting them with. Our third goal is related to staff recruitment and retention to meet contemporary student needs, continuing our efforts on recruiting and retaining and developing a diverse workforce. We continue our involvement with the Massachusetts Partnership for Diversity in Education. As they are not regionally based, I think we have not seen great success with that partnership, although we do want to continue those relationships and that networking. And so to that end, this initiative would be to work more locally to establish some recruitment fairs for current students as well as community members who want to enter the field of education. And that is being done in collaboration with some of our other districts. And we're going into our third year of what we're calling stay interviews with staff. So Kristen, as the assistant superintendent, has been leading this up, meeting with cohorts of educators. So in the first year, it was new staff. Last year, it was staff who were 5 to 10 years. And we'll continue stay interviews with particular focus groups of staff to see what we learn and can implement by learning from them. Continuing to develop career ladders. So as mentioned before, there's some overlap with the BTA's Joint Labor Management Group and apprenticeship opportunities. Continuing to support the growth of new district leaders. Later on in the agenda, you'll see some proposed teacher leader or educator leader positions to continue to build a pipeline of educators. It's becoming harder and harder to fill district leadership positions, both in Barnstable and as I talk to my colleagues in other districts. Higher education institutions are providing additional opportunities, so partnering with them. The Innovation School, BCIS, has been developing in particular some higher ed partners for like a teaching learning lab. And then many of our school buildings are implementing instructional rounds where teachers can learn from each other by observing and providing feedback. And I added this year to be more explicit about our strategic professional development to support our goals. We have plans for very explicit co-teaching professional development for our multilingual language teachers and classroom teachers. We have, as Kristen had talked about in her PD preview, supporting multilingual learners with early literacy for K to 5 with, as they continue to implement CKLA curriculum, and improving student learning by strengthening instructional practices grades 6 through 12. So the big emphasis is on instruction. And then our fourth goal continues to be around our school facilities. Many of these bulleted items are reflected in your roadmap. So that includes presenting prioritized capital improvement projects in a 5-year plan with the ongoing maintenance costs projected, building community awareness of facilities conditions and needs through school committee presentations, which will start at your next meeting with BIS. Continuing to collaborate with Environmed on our efforts to maintain excellent indoor air quality, continuing to pursue various funding opportunities to support capital improvements. I think one of the things that's not been really seen, but has been going on behind the scenes, has been a lot of work with MSBA, both as it relates to our accelerated repair applications, the MSBA survey that we responded to. We are now being asked to do another survey for the MSBA related to our experience with the CORE program. I think it's all really good in terms of relationship development with the agency, but that has actually taken up quite a bit of time and work on both Doug and Kotry's part. So I do want to mention that. There are also some funding opportunities coming to us through Sean Hogan and the town of Barnstable with some incentives. And so he often comes to us with some really interesting energy saving projects. And so we're really trying to piece together various funding opportunities so it's not all coming through savings or the capital trust. And then building internal capacity. So this is a little vague, but kind of open to opportunities that arise for us to maybe think a little bit differently and build some capacity within the facilities department in order to take on what is a pretty monumental task related to our current maintenance operations, but also capital improvement. And so those are our 4 goal areas and major initiatives. Happy to take any questions or comments.
Jen?
Well, first of all, thank you for reflecting the little roadmap in most of these slides. I feel like that's a really positive first step. And as usual, it's mind-boggling how general and kind of granular your slides can be. They make my head spin a little bit because they're like such big concepts, and then they are such like tiny specific things. But overall, I think it's a good snapshot of where we need to be and where we need to go. And I look forward to especially the things on facilities. I think that's where we'll find most of our savings in the future. Thank you.
Peter?
I totally agree with Jen. Whenever Sarah puts together a document like this, it's always very complete. I think you said head-spinning and mind-boggling. I'm first in line to agree with that. But since we brought up one, and I always like to comment on this word, I think you might even know what I'm commenting. I'm just going back a little. On the first big slide where it said strategic objective number 2, rigorous curriculum. You know me and rigor. I brought this up before. It's I'm only here for a couple more months, so bear with me. I think rigor is thorough. It's demanding. It's precise. I love that word, and I think at the bottom of that first slide, the big idea is it says data needs to be examined to assess each goal area with a respect to equity. And I'm just, like Jen was saying, there's a lot of stuff in these slides, and now I'm confused. And I know certain things need to be equitable. I totally agree. Funding for elementary schools need to be equitable. I totally get it. But not all outcomes are equitable. If I can use a sports analogy, are we playing a football game this weekend, Andre? Barnstable?
I'll talk about it in my slides.
Oh, good. Okay,
we have a football game on Friday at 7 o'clock.
Well, I know the playing time may not be equitable for everyone on the team, yet they were all through every practice and all that stuff. And, some kids are going to play more than others for a variety of reasons. And outcomes and grades and stuff like that are not always equitable. Someone's desire or skills or reading ability or comprehension skills, that kid might be the A kid while other kids are C and D or whatever. So I'm just a little confused by that. I don't truly know what you're trying to say there, that rigorous curriculum needs to be assessed with respect to equity. So enlighten me if you would.
I think what equity is really speaking to is that each student is getting what they need in order to strive to the same high expectations, the same rigorous expectations, grade level expectations. And for a student who is learning English, that might be additional English instruction with a multilanguage learner teacher to augment and support the instruction they're getting in the classroom. But we're expecting them, and it may take a little more time. It may look a little different, but we're expecting their participation with CKLA and early literacy. And our multilingual learners are, quite frankly, doing really quite well in terms of meeting their language benchmarks and, over time, performing as good, if not better, because they're bilingual, but it looks a little different for them.
Thank you. That was a clear explanation. I understood it, so I'm good. Thank you.
Andre?
Yes, comprehensive document, dare I say scientific in its approach and its specificity. So it's a strong document. Some of the questions that I had, I'm excited to hear about the PRISM grant and how that has allowed for some of the curriculum reviews that we did not have the budgeting for. So can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So following the budget, kind of the budget season, the PRISM opportunity came up. Kristen, in particular, presented it as, should we apply? We were prepared to do both curriculum reviews, but couldn't due to funding. And so Kristen and Jackie Gillis, grants manager in particular, applied to see if we were awarded, and we were. So we're able to continue on that pacing. And knowing that you have, as a committee, been open to this idea that we need to pay attention to our curriculum and provide teachers with the tools they need, but thinking outside the box for how to fund it.
That sounds good. I just have two more things. You noted the Massachusetts Partnership for Diversity in Education, that we're continuing our involvement with them to recruit and retain the best workforce. We want the best people, and that includes, a diversity of individuals. So I'm glad to see that, as John Reed, for many years, led the charge with the Massachusetts Partnership for Diversity in Education, and really fortified the relationship to Barnstable, which was originally one of the only Cape schools. So I'm glad that that is still the case. I'm excited and interested in local recruitment fairs taking place possibly in the district. I know that Cape Cod Community College has done something previously, and that's how certain staff members found their way to Barnstable, vis-a-vis those type of recruitment fairs. So that's a good idea, and I'm looking forward to kind of learning more and kind of following up with that. Certainly, we've talked. There's challenges, housing. There's challenges to working on it, but that's something that every educator is going to face. So anything that we can do to alleviate those, to have, again, the best workforce. We want the best people, and I feel that's going to be a diverse workforce. The last point that I had, and I'm quite pleased that you have brought this up. It's about establishing an AI task force to identify both opportunities and limits. That's something that is the wave. It's the wave of the future, and it's the present. You noted it in your speech at graduation, how the technology is increasing and faster and faster. We're certainly hearing a lot more about it. But my specific question is, how are we, or preparing, frankly, students, or is the preparation of students something that's thinking about? Meaning, meaning you may want to consider this approach, this major, because that job might not be there in 4 or 5 years, really being on the front end of that. And then the second point about artificial intelligence, from an educator standpoint, is just to kind of make sure that we have academic integrity, right? Meaning a seventh grader that writes a flawless 5-page paper that could be published in the Boston Globe. Not that he couldn't do that, or he or she couldn't do that, but it might have been generated vis-a-vis artificial intelligence rather than your own capabilities. So just maybe talk a little bit more.
Yeah, Andre, I think you bring up how layered the issue of AI use is. So it's everything from academic integrity and how writing a piece comes to be, to really big ideas such as a future job and whether or not AI is going to squeeze out. So it's really comprehensive in terms of instruction and teaching students ethical use, but then beyond the classroom, from a career counseling standpoint or a guidance standpoint, how are we keeping tabs with changing job markets, and then coaching students into paths for their future. Another thing I mentioned in graduation is often the 3 questions that students should ask themselves. What do I like? What am I good at? And what does the world need me to do? And the what does the world need me to do is going to be changing with AI, and AI is going to have students answer that question differently. So it's really layered, and I think there's space both from classroom teachers, but also guidance when we talk about this task force.
I agree. Thank you.
Kathy, I just forgot. Very brief. That's those stay interviews. That's a fabulous idea, and I never heard of these. But for someone who's been teaching 15 years or something, to have the opportunity, first of all, it shows you we value you, to want to get their opinions, and to share what's working for them or what's not, or how we can help, whatever it is that's part of that interview. I think that's a fabulous idea.
Kristen does a great job with them too.
Mike?
Thank you, Mike. That's okay. Excellent job. Excellent presentation. I like kind of the through line from one year to the next, like you can see the progression of this, your vision, you as the superintendent's vision, like through the district, top to bottom, like, and you can see that this is the next year of that plan. You know, it's like, I would assume that you probably have like a multi-year plan and it's on your cupboard somewhere. And this is kind of like the next progression of that plan. And from everything that they all said, I agree with it. And it's just, to me, it's kind of like, it's kind of cool to kind of see like the next, I'm kind of almost like excited to see next year's, because it's like, okay, like where is it going to go next year? And the fact that you probably have had a 10-year roadmap for the superintendent role for the last, since you came here. And just to see it kind of like coming to fruition is really cool. So, and I think just the way you explain it, and I'm not an educator, so, and a lot of the people who watch these meetings aren't educators, and their parents, and they do whatever they do for a career, and the way you explain it, so it's just, so I can understand it, is, I always thought was kind of a gift of yours, because you could take really high-level stuff, and I've been on here long enough so I get it, but like the fact that you could bring the high-level stuff down to me and the parents and like just the normal folks, because everybody else here other than Jen is educators, me and Jen aren't. So like the fact that you can explain it to me, I appreciate it, because I think I represent the public, and the fact that I get it means they probably get it. So excellent job as always. Thank you.
And I have nothing to add to and agree with what everybody else has said. And about the stay interviews, I almost think the stay interviews are more important than the exit interviews, because if you can get them to open up and find out what they're concerned about and alleviate the concerns, they will stay. So I'm sure that's what was in the back of your head. So good job. Right, Mike?
Move to approve the district improvement plan as presented in tonight's material.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 4.5, approve the appointment of a school nurse at Barnstable United Elementary.
Have a good night.
Thank you. So we have a candidate for, as the finalist for school nurse at BUES. This is a full-time position. They have two FTEs there. This is a full-time position. And I am looking for your appointment of Daisha Beans as school nurse at BUES.
Move to approve the appointment of Daisha Beans as a school nurse at Barnstable United Elementary.
I'll second.
All right, having a motion made and seconded, any discussion?
I
Jen?
just got a question. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Peter?
All set.
Andre?
My only question is, are we adding somebody, or is this because there was an opening?
There was a vacancy.
Okay,
So this
so
is not a new position.
This is just filling the vacancy?
Yep.
Okay.
Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 4.6, approve the delegate for the MASC resolutions. Each year at MASC's annual meeting, they have resolutions, and each district gets a vote on behalf of their whole committee. And so we need a delegate.
I'm out. Oh, do you want to do it, Kathy? Oh, okay. Move to approve the appointment of Kathy Bent as the delegate for the MASC resolutions.
I'll second.
Having a motion, discussion. All right, having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right, item 4.7, approve the school facilities project manager job description. Sarah.
Thank you. So a number of us in the office have been brainstorming a way in which to take a step towards building more internal capacity in the facilities department. And so this is a proposed position to the school committee for a facilities project manager. The job description has been reviewed by Chris Dwelley, Deputy Director of School Finance. I have shared it with Doug and Kotry in the Facilities Department to make sure that it would suit their needs. But what I really see as I sort of take a look at the department is we have a real need for some strategic thinking, some long-term thinking, and some systems thinking. And that is a huge strength of Doug's. We know we have a day-to-day maintenance, operations, putting fires out, and there are a lot of fires, and emergency management, as well as a personnel management component. And then we have a very aggressive portfolio of capital projects, all of which require communication with stakeholders, communication with engineers and architects related to design, bid packet development, communication with procurement, communication with contractors, shuffling the contracts around and making sure it goes to legal and then comes back to me. There's just an immense amount in a very aggressive capital portfolio. And so the town does have a project manager on staff to assist Structures and Grounds with this type of work, and I see it as being a good complement for the director and deputy director so that they can kind of, especially Doug, can kind of step back and think more systemically and more strategically about the entire facilities enterprise. This job description was also shared with Bill Cole, as well as a member of Structures and Grounds, to take a look at the qualifications and take a look at the major areas of responsibility. So we're proposing it to you this evening. It does not need to be funded through the operating budget. In talking with Chris and having him take a look at it, Chris's recommendation to me was to put it forward to be funded out of the school revolving account. We know that many of our capital projects are related to our ability to rent our facilities. We do charge a fee to rent our facilities, and some of our agreements related to those rentals, they're all in line with your expectations for fees, but they have been redone recently, and so there will be some additional revolving account funds coming in. So I think that this could be a very high leverage position, and would ask for your support.
Move to approve the school facilities project manager job description as presented in tonight's materials.
A second.
Any discussion? Jen?
Yes, I mean, I think I spoke with Sarah today briefly on my way to work, and my biggest concern is Sarah's ability to form a team that affects our facilities and our schools in a positive way. And I think that any leader in any position, it takes 3 to 5 years to be able to do that. And I think this is a big step toward realizing that, number one, facilities are our biggest weakness, and number two, we need to point some money and direction in that area if we're ever to emerge from it. So my full support, absolutely, and I think it will really help Doug and Katri, be able to redefine and focus on their roles better too. And I know we really need to double click on our facilities issues. Thank you.
Peter?
All set, thank you.
Andre?
Yeah, for me, I can understand the logic of robbing Peter to pay Paul, meaning, you have these grand, big ideas and things that you want to get done, but then you spend all of your time putting out those day-to-day fires, and you end up taking one step forward and 2 steps backwards. So to Jen's point, I like the idea of this additional individual. Just wanted some clarity, because it is a big district, and there are, so project managers, so like what would be, so for instance, like would they only, how is this person going to facilitate all of the projects or capital improvement projects in the district? Meaning, would they only look at capital improvement projects, or would they only look at our athletic fields? How? Because that would be my question about the.
I think they would predominantly look at the capital improvement projects, but there may be other projects that are of a large enough scope or require enough organization that are more operational that they would need to implement. So, for example, we have there's some coordination between facilities and technology that needs to occur. They might be able to, as a project manager, kind of pull the two entities together and implement that, even if it's coming out of the operating budget.
Thank you for that, because previously we looked at something like this for the high school. As I recall, I think a gentleman, was going to work on, because the theory that the principal has so many academics, they can't spearhead all of these things, and we need something like a project manager at that school for everything else to coordinate, so on and forth, which I supported. And so, just looking at this as that's a similar role, but just for the 9 buildings there at the entire school. Is my thinking on that correct? Or please?
I'm not sure exactly which position. Is it in the facilities department, or was it more of an administrative position, like the senior assistant principal?
I believe the position was a part of the budget discussions last year. I'm not sure if that position at the high school still exists. No, it wasn't a head custodian.
It's not ringing a bell.
Mr. Pooler.
Custodial supervisor.
Oh, yes.
Yep. So the custodial supervisor was reduced as part of the budget, and the management of the custodians is happening in the facilities department, I think, largely between Doug and Kotri, but Kotri is doing a lot of it.
All right, thank you. Again, just somebody to coordinate, to oversee, and I just was wondering which particular projects. It'll be the capital improvement projects, but not necessarily limited to those, district-wide. I concur with my colleagues. It's a good opportunity and a good investment.
I'm all set. I fully support it. We always talk about facilities. We got to put our money where our mouth is. So this is a big step for the infrastructure to get people to be able to, like you said, there's all kinds of permitting and everything else. So this is the person who's going to be able to take that and take it off of Doug's plate. So that's going to help him and open him up to do other things. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, and the town has more than one project manager. When we see that they have a special big capital project like the sewer, they hire a specific project manager for one project even. So having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 4.8, approve K-3 Special Education Coordinator job description.
Thank you. So 4.8 coincides with another item later on about a position, as does actually the project manager job description too. But this is in relation to kind of a reorganization of the special education department, going from 2 co-directors to now we have Kim Stolowski in an interim director of special education for the district role, and providing additional support kind of at the building level, so to speak. This is across multiple buildings, though, across our 5 K-3s. It creates a lot more equity of leadership. That is the one level that does not have a special education coordinator. But we used to have one in Barnstable many years ago. And so this creates a more parallel structure with one director and multiple special education coordinators. Now it would be covering pre-K through grades 12, chairing team meetings, providing support and collaborating with principals, and supporting the transition between pre-K and K and grades 3 to 4.
I'm going to make a
Any discussion? Okay.
Just a question, just so I understand it. So there's a K-3 coordinator, and then there's another coordinator for 4 to 8 or 4 to 12?
We have a coordinator 4-5 at BUE. We have a building-based coordinator at BIS, and we have a coordinator 8 through 12. We also have a pre-K coordinator, but K-3 does not have a coordinator. It's currently, the roles of chairing team meetings falls to school psychologists, which takes them away from one of their predominant roles, which would be testing and evaluation of students and perhaps providing some clinical services.
Okay.
You answered my question. I was going to say, because I heard you say about the team meeting, so that means school psychologists will no longer be So this one person is going to be able to chair all team meetings at all 5 of our elementary schools?
I think we'll have to take a look at the schedule. There,
Do you need a second one?
it is a big job. I think they'd love to have a second one, but we're trying to propose
I get
something that
it.
is
Yeah, I get it, but
within the
that's-
budget.
But, so you have
We
one
may
just,
still have some school psychs chairing some team meetings, but this will take the bulk of it.
so that's going to not really become our standard practice anymore of school psychologists running team meetings?
Right.
Okay. Do I have to make a motion? I haven't made a motion yet, have I? So,
I think you made a motion, didn't you?
I don't think,
Did
not
we?
on this
I
one.
don't think- okay.
Move to approve the K-3 Special Education Coordinator job description as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
And we had our discussion. Any more discussion? Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
All right. Finance and Facilities, item 5.1, the fiscal year 25 financial recap. And Chris Dwelley. Glasses are like Barnstable.
Natalie brought them. I found my other pair. We won't tell her.
Good evening, everyone. I am here for our fiscal year 25 end-of-year update. This has become an annual tradition where I come before you and just give you a preview of how we've wrapped up the prior fiscal year. So we've got a couple of slides here, and in your packet are some more detailed reports that gives you insight into all of our line items. So to start with our general fund summary, this is our largest funding source for the school department. You see how we've ended the year. I'll draw your attention to the bottom right in bold. We had $62,000 in unspent and, well, no longer available, but unspent appropriations. That'll get closed out in the next couple of weeks, go to free cash, and that will go into our savings account balance beginning in the fall. So out of a $90 million general fund budget, we're spending pretty close right down to it, or almost the entire budget. I'd like to think that that is good budgeting by the school committee and the administration, you know, budgeting it down to the cent. But that's what we like to see. You'll notice we've still got some encumbrances in our supplies and operating categories. We continue to work with departments and sites to close those out. Many of them really are either forgotten encumbrances that were made at the beginning of the year that we just need to close out, or they're contractual obligations that came in toward the end of the fiscal year, and we've yet to see or receive an invoice to pay for that obligation at this point. So that's our overall general fund summary for you. And again, we've got a full line item detailed budget report if you wanted to go line by line to see all the activity that's occurred over the year. The next category is our what we call special revenue, but these are all of our revolving funds. And this is the activity throughout the year. I would draw your attention to, was in gray, but the second to last column is what we look for, and that's our ending balance of all the funds. We want those to all be in a positive position, which they are. You'll recall last year, the athletic department revolving fund ended the year in a deficit, and we came to you during budget season, the athletic director, and had a conversation about increasing fees to be able to bring that back into a positive position and be able to support itself. And then the last column is an interesting one. That's the change from the beginning balance in July 1 to the end of the year in June 30th. So you see the funds that are, I guess, increasing in balance over year, and others that have greater expenses than revenue. I will point out, just because you approved it a few motions ago for the new facilities project coordinator, we've got a pretty healthy balance in the school building rental. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down at about $450,000 that we're closing out this year. That is due to a multitude of factors. We anticipate that that will continue to be pretty healthy, but it's something we're going to monitor. We don't want that position to end up in the operating budget in the future. So it'll be incumbent upon us to monitor this and make sure that we can sustain our operations as they are. And the last slide is on our school savings. And so we started the fiscal year with a little over $11 million. Put just under 2 toward ESSER support, the second of the 4-year arrangement that we worked on. We added 1.8 for overall operating support, and then just over $850,000 toward the FY26 capital program, which leaves us with a remaining balance of $6.8 million. We anticipate receiving about $2 million in additional free cash and additional savings next year as a result of those unspent general funds that we went over a few slides ago, as well as really on the revenue side. So a lot of our savings is generated through Mark Milne's work in the finance department on revenue estimates for the whole town. And we've got some positive news coming out of investments, permits, fees, some other revenue generation that occurs in the town that the school department will benefit from next year. So that's it, short and sweet. Happy to answer any questions, but glad to be ending the fiscal year in a good position.
Jen?
Well, as usual, your PowerPoints are too long.
Yes.
Thanks for the snapshots. Great work budgeting. I mean, it's just been a really challenging couple of years and will continue to be challenging, but I'm glad to see we're making the right decisions, even though they're sometimes painful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. It has been challenging, but you're doing a great job watching over us in the budget, and never any great surprises. So appreciate that, Chris.
Andre?
Yeah, for me, concur, good job. The facilities rentals that you noted, that was 400 and some odd thousand, which seems $50,000 more, particularly our athletic teams and then our facilities. That's in relation to the new fee schedule.
Yes, so the facilities item that increase is related to the fee increases that the school committee approved. It is also related to a one-time increase or benefit that we saw. We received, it's called an IVAQ grant from the state. It was a one-time fund of about $1.2 million. And essentially what the state did is they reimbursed us for existing capital efforts. So what we were able to do is we were able to reimburse 3 of our accounts, some of our capital accounts, some of the facility department's general funds accounts, as well as that revolving fund account, to be able to replenish those back. So that was a one-time benefit that we won't see in the future. Those are the kind of the 2 major factors related to the balance for the maintenance line.
So thank you. Overall, it's comprehensive, it's informative. I'm glad that we are staying out of the red and have a positive balance. That's, it's a big district. There's a lot of costs, so on and forth. I just wanted to, specific to athletics, it's a fine line, right? We want the kids to participate, but then we have to fund the project, But then what is that line, that our local families are able to pay so that they can continue to participate, they can continue to use our athletic facilities, fields, so on and forth. So it seems that we're navigating that well. And so thank you for that information.
Mike?
Really simply, the reds, the blacks, and all of that stuff, are we where we normally are? Like the ones that are like in the reds, like transportation, and like, are those kind of the ones that are always kind of running in the red? And then my more question is this a normal end of the year report, or is there something that you're concerned about that kind of was like, or is kind of status quo?
Yeah.
It was, what about where you figured it was going to end up?
Generally speaking, it's status quo.
Okay.
Yep,
Good.
no concerns with the variances.
Okay, you're the expert, so that's more what I want to know. Thank you.
So we don't have an adult continuing education program anymore, do we? Oh, the adult ESL, okay. Right, okay. All right, thanks. I'm all set. Thank you,
All right,
Chris.
thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
We are now 5.2, Capital Improvement Plan Projects Update, and we have Doug.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thanks for having me, and thank you for that earlier vote on the job description. What I wanted to do and what we talked about coming here tonight was basically a quick summary of some of the projects that we've been working on, where we are to date, before we go into the new season for capital improvements. Some of the ones that have been able to be completed since I started here a year ago, of course, the new portable classrooms are pretty much wrapped up and finished. There's been a couple small issues there that the contractor is taking care of under warranty. The generator install and replacement, we are pretty much 90% complete. I think there's one school that's left to be generized, and that's just some pending change order issues that are coming up. The mechanical upgrades in boiler and pumps, that's district-wide. That's an ongoing project. We're replacing them as they start to fail and trying to get ahead of that and be in front of it and replacing some of the ones that are more aged. The EFIS replacement project to the Barnstable High School, Red Hawks Ridge Park, that was all completed, very successful. The West Villages classroom carpet to flooring in West Villages, that school is completed. We may have to revisit that. What was eliminated from this capital project was the hallways. So that school, we're gonna have to revisit that and come back to it. I think what was happening when they put this out was it probably came in above budget, so they took out some of the scope. Some of the scope was the hallways. So we'll revisit that one, but it's a success. The school looks great as far as the classrooms. This year, we also got to finish the night hall chiller replacement. That was a success. It looks great. There's probably still some more work to some of the other components in there, but this particular CIP project was completed and finished out. The BIS HVAC replacement project, I think I'll talk more about that next month when I come in front of you regarding that school, but it has been awarded. The engineers are working with it. We're reviewing schedule. I have a meeting next week to review schedule, timing, deliverables, all that kind of thing. So that's a good positive that's going to be happening, and the intent is to have it finished for next summer. The BPS door and hardware replacement project, that kind of grew and grew as far as the amount of schools that are involved. It's going to be going out to bid. There was a small problem, I guess, with the bid package. Similar to the kind of the issues we were talking about earlier about this other position. It just, some of these projects just take a lot of work and effort between drawings, architects, bid packages, scheduling, timing, to get that out, but we're 98% ready to go. And this will be an exterior door replacement. I'm hoping to have it taken care of over the winter and into the spring. Similar, I think it was BCIS had some doors that should be replaced. If this project would have taken off and we would have done it this summer, a lot of those doors would have been addressed. High West sidewalks and paving. I don't know if anybody's been over there. It looks great. The sidewalks look great. The pavings came out really nice. The striping out back, we widened that back parking lot, but of course the preschool, they're still just trying to adjust to that new pickup and drop off. So that's there's some curbs or curb stops that need to go in. They're going to do that when we, I think we're scheduling that for the 12th when we have the PD day. BPS lighting replacement project, district-wide. We are wrapping this up. The high school was the last school to be taken care of. I just received a change order for some final tiny little things that have to be done on that school. So that school is wrapping up that project. The culinary project, that is out to bid. It's been extended and extended. There's been a lot of Q&As on that project, but I believe we're hoping to have final bids due the end of this week. We're reviewing it and then hopefully awarding it shortly. The tennis court replacement project, that went out to bid. It's pretty much been ready to be awarded. I'm almost thinking it is awarded, but it's pending the next subject we're going to talk about. Still like to have that on a winter into the spring schedule. It might push into late spring. BUE library carpet replacement. That CIP, we were able to take care of that this summer. Project completed. Same with BIS library carpet replacement. That was completed this summer. And the one that's getting me this summer is the demolition of the old portables. Those old office trailers. That's just been a permitting and utility issue that we're addressing. It's scheduled now for next week. The trailer near transportation had some underground gas lines that are still there. They need to be taken out before they'll let us take it out. Disconnecting the gas was one thing, but we've got to basically dig up from the building, the office trailer, out to the street. So that'll be taking place. Upcoming projects that are in the works right now, the BCIS elevator project, that's in the engineering phase. Learning more about that. Talk about a whole new shaft, where it's going to go. So that project is still in its conceptual stage and engineering evaluation. Playground safety mats, pour and play. That's district-wide. We're going to looking at starting with 2 schools almost immediately, but we have to get the final design phase. Looking to have that done by April, May of this year. District-wide PA system. That's district-wide. It's been in the design phase. I've had presentations on it. It should be amazing, but when I say design phase, this has to still go out to bid. It has to be designed. It still has to, and there's a lot of that design phase. I mean, a presentation is one thing, but you have to have the terminology. So I'm looking forward to working with the new executive director on this, and we'll finalize it and get it out to bid. The BIS gym floor replacement, and I'm going to jump it also to and put it in with the high school main gym floor. This ran into some issues in the design phase also. Design engineers are looking at it. We're trying to come together with I thought, very simple. It's a floor plan. Here it is. Let's go. It got into the estimation and looking more into it. And then, of course, the more people you talk to and the more engineers you talk to, there might be some issues with those floors. And when I say issues, it's with the material in the floors. So now we're back to engineering and environmental testing of the rubber floors. So it's the rubber floor at BIS, and then it's also the rubber floor that's underneath the high school floor. So that kind of slowed things down on those 2 projects. Because we want to address it, we want to address it correctly, and we want to know what our costs are and what we're getting ourselves into. The Performing Arts Center upgrade, I'll end with that one. We're evaluating the phases of that Performing Arts Center. But unfortunately, right now, we're getting into, there's some mechanical issues in there that we're addressing, and we're taking care of that and getting that as part of this upgrade project. So more to come on that one. Questions so far?
Jen, Peter, Andre.
Yeah, just a couple questions. The demolition of the, excuse me, the old portable trailers, is that kind of when you're going out of the intermediate school? Where are those trailers?
Yes, one is by Culinary. That's the really ugly, boarded up one because kids kept breaking into it. That one actually had a small asbestos problem on the roof. We took care of that. We had that addressed. That one's ready to go. Okay. It's just I think that when they would come, they want to come with their equipment and do both at the same time. The one by Transportation, which is past the tennis courts, past the baseball field, that's the one that still has a gas line, basically almost from the unit out to the street. So we're addressing that. And the utility company wasn't really very responsive all summer. It was, but we finally got to the bottom of it, and now it's scheduled. As soon as that's done, the demolition will be out here 2-3 days. They'll both be gone.
Sounds good. They've been there for so long that you just assume that they're just going to stay forever. So from a beautification standpoint, that's outstanding. Another question: the BIS floor replacement, and it is a rubber floor. It's been a rubber floor since the building was built. but there's, I don't necessarily put those two together because the high school floor, as I've noted, is much newer than the BIS floor. But all I'm saying is that hopefully that may come online before the high school floor because they are, again, different. And, there just has been that, the floor is, it's ancient. It's ancient.
You're absolutely right. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean, doing them would be definitely, we could do them separately, but I'm saying that they ran into the same issue. They ran into the same engineering, environmental issue. Because once we said rubber floor in one, then they said, well, what's underneath the high school one? And that's kind of where everything kind of slowed up. So we're working on that.
Thank you.
Mike?
I'm all set. Excellent presentation. Good job.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 5.3, approve BHS tennis court project transfer request. Sarah?
So I can jump in, and then Doug can maybe answer some questions. Chris looks like he just stepped out momentarily. So the tennis court project bid came in higher than the allocation was. This is kind of a trend that we've seen in several capital improvement projects. It's also happening with some town capital improvement projects. Part of it's the timing and inflation and things of that nature. So Chris, Doug, and I carefully went through previous capital projects to see what balances remain in various areas, and are proposing that you recommend to the town council. If you vote on this tonight, it would then go to town council for transfers from the orders that are listed in the motion to be able to support the tennis court project in full.
Move to recommend that the sum of $118,225 be transferred from Town Council Order 2019-093 BHS Sports Field Upgrade. The sum of $127,724 be transferred from the Town Council Order 2021-086 BHS Synthetic Turf Replacement, and the sum of $341,578 be transferred from the Town Council Order 2023-118 Night Hall Chiller Replacement for the BHS Tennis Court project, including the payment of costs incidental or related thereto, and that the school committee is authorized to contract for and expend the funds made available for these purposes and be authorized to accept any gifts or grants in relations thereto.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Jen?
No.
Peter?
Nope.
Andre? Mike?
Nope.
Okay. Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 5.4, approve school facilities project manager position.
This is a request related to the job description that you approved to approve a school facilities project manager position, which would be funded out of the facilities revolving account.
Move to approve the school facilities project manager position as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
Having a motion, discussion. Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 5.3, approve K-3 special education coordinator position.
So this item, as well as the 3 department head positions later, are part of that special education reorg with 1 director and additional kind of building-based or level-based supports. So this is a request, and it would be, budget neutral, given the departure of 1 co-director, to approve a K-3 special education coordinator.
Move to approve the K-3 special education coordinator position as presented in tonight's material.
Second.
Having a discussion?
I actually just got one question. So my only concern with all of these 3 positions, or all the ones that are kind of attached to SPED, special education, is what happens, I assume, do we still have out to hire an assistant well, for this year, I understand that it was 2, then we couldn't get somebody, so we ended up with just 1, and I understand that. But my question is, what happens if next year, or are you planning, or thought process is to eventually replace the assistant director of special education? Or are you thinking more just stay with 1 and then have all of these other positions?
I think in the ideal scenario, but I think some of it needs to be seen in terms of the effectiveness of the K-3 position, the effectiveness of the department head positions, and the addition of a second assistant coordinator at the high school, whether or not one leader, K-12 or pre-K-12 is enough, or if we need an assistant special education director pre-K-12. But I want to sort of wait and see how this model works.
You probably understand my thought. My thought process is okay. So if you find that this doesn't work, then okay, that makes sense to me. Because then we would go back to the assistant director, and a lot of these positions would probably go away.
We'd have to consider. I think we would
It'd
consider
be financially
it,
is what
and,
really would come down to.
And financially, we'd have to see what shape we're in.
Okay.
District.
It just concerns me. It doesn't concern me, but it's just in my mind, I'm thinking we're spending the money for assistant director, but you can't. Right now, we don't have an assistant director, so you can spend the money. But if we want to go back to assistant director, it would then go into financials, because then all these positions would be added, and then it would become a financial liability.
And I think we would try to figure that out through the budget, evaluate how it's going and see from the budget process. These aren't necessarily, the coordinator is a new position. I do think that we would look internal to fill it, and then also with the department heads, hope to have internal interest.
Okay, thank you.
And for clarification, these department head positions are not full-time positions.
No, they're stipended with a reduced schedule. Yeah.
They may sound like they're a little more.
Well, it's still money, though.
It is.
We're still taking money out of an assistant director's position for these positions.
Everything is money.
Yep.
Okay, Mike.
Did I make the motion? No?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 5.6, approve speech language pathologist department head position.
So you already have a job description for department heads that is pretty universal. So the proposal would be just to use the current one and then have a department head position that is stipended with the BTA for the speech and language pathologists. The number of staff members in this program is very, very similar to what other department heads currently have.
Move to approve the speech language pathologist department head position as presented in tonight's materials.
I'll second.
And discussion? Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 5.7, approve school psychologist department head position.
So this would be similar, that universal job description for department heads, and the number of school psychologists district-wide, pre-K to 12, approximates the same number that SLP and other department heads would have.
Move to approve the school psychologist department head position as presented in tonight's materials.
I'll second.
Discussion? Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 5.8, approve related service provider department head position.
So we have a number of staff members who fall under the category of related service providers. It includes occupational therapy, physical therapy, BCBA, teachers of vision and mobility, and this would be a department head position to supervise, evaluate, and provide PD support for them.
Move to approve the related services provider department head position as presented in tonight's materials.
I'll second.
Discussion? A motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 5.9, approve accounts payable warrant fiscal year 26, warrant number 10.
Move to approve accounts payable warrant FY26 warrant number 10 in the amount of $724,563.58.
I'll second.
Discussion? Having a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Consent agenda, item 6.1. Tonight's consent agenda includes the approval of the school committee meeting minutes of August 20th, 2025.
Move to approve the items in the consent agenda as presented in tonight's materials.
I'll second.
Have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Executive session.
Chair, point of information. Will I deliver my slides after executive session?
Yeah, at the end of the meeting, please.
No problem.
Item 7.1, executive session. Move to go into executive session to reconvene an open session to approve the school committee executive session minutes of August 20th, 2025, and for a strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel and/or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Bryce, Harper.
I'll second.
Having a motion made and seconded, this is a roll call vote. Jen? Yes. Peter?
Yes.
Andre?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We're now in executive session. Okay, we are back. You need the motion. Okay, so we are back in open session on item 8.1. Mike?
Yep. Move to approve a 3-year employment contract for the Executive Director of Technology, Bryce Harper, beginning on October 6, 2025, with a base salary of $150,000 in other terms as presented in tonight's materials.
I'll second.
Having a motion made and seconded, roll call, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll call vote. Jen?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Andre?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right. Andre, did you want to do a presentation?
Yes, I have my slides, which we've put here. Still want to inform the community. Do we have the clicker? Thank you, Kristen.
See you, Jen.
That was a fumble on my part. It was a good handoff, but I fumbled, and I realized where we are. As I say, Barnstable is a large, it's diverse, and it's a dynamic district, so I have a number of things to report to the community. So there was a sweet start to the school year at BUES. Barnstable Elementary students and the PTA welcomed students back a few days early with an ice cream social. Students had the chance to reconnect with friends, to meet their new teachers and staff, and enjoy a delicious ice cream kickoff for the upcoming school year. It's not moving. There we go. It's in presentation mode, and so we are on. Convocation dedicated educators were warmly welcomed to Barnstable High School for the new school year. There were messages by our superintendent, chair, town manager Mark Ells, and BTA president Brooke Steich also spoke. Our chorus and school band performed. The color guard and chorus energized the crowd with the victory song. It was a good event. See the clicker. Overall, that's the fireside chat, which I liked. Big fan of Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the fireside chats. And it's just a great opportunity for educators to reconnect and get focused on the upcoming school year. The first day of school was a success in many regards. There were big smiles, fresh backpacks, which we'll get to, and a lot of excitement across the district. So we'll go to the individual schools. And enthusiastic, the first couple days, getting those taken care of in August, getting them out of the way. This is at the intermediate school. And over at the high school, students were enthused. This was something that was noted by our student envoy, but this is the senior backpack fundraiser where the seniors bought interesting backpacks, different designs that they're using to raise funds for their class. So this is the senior backpack fundraiser during the first few days of school. Exciting news. The Steamship Authority recently held its annual art contest with the theme Sail into Imagination. Over 200 students from grades K to 12 submitted their creative work for a chance to be featured in the 2026 calendar and displayed on board ferries this fall and winter. We in Barnstable Public Schools are thrilled to announce that 2 talented students from Miss Ray's 5th grade class at BUES were selected as winners. Congratulations to Lara Oliveira and Shireen GC on their amazing achievement. We're proud of you and can't wait to see your artwork set sail on the Steamship Authority. Great job. The Barnstable Volleyball program had their 16th annual play day, which was a success. A huge thank you to the 18 teams that participated. What an amazing day of volleyball, community, and sunshine. I want to note that the team had their first game against Danvers High School, which was a victory. They played tonight against Notre Dame Academy on the road. And I want the community to be aware that on Friday at 5:30, the volleyball team will take on the Clippers of Falmouth High School at home. Be sure to be there. Also on Friday, first of all, I want to give a shout out to our senior captains for the football team. These young men have been working very hard, and we're looking for them to be leaders, both on the field and in the classroom. The football team will have their inaugural game also on Friday at 7 o'clock, so you can make both. You can go to the volleyball game at 5:30, and you can make the football game at 7 o'clock against Minichug. Apologies for the pronunciation. And also taking place at the football game, the Hope Squad, raising awareness and promoting awareness of mental health, will be at the game, and they're looking for donations for their mental health awareness items and students and spectators to wear. If you're considering donating, the Hope Squad will be at the football game on Friday. I want to give a shout out to the soccer team, which had their first inaugural alumni game, which was well attended. This is the inaugural alumni game for our soccer team. Clicker here is holding. Let's see if we can. There we go. So former students coming out to participate against current students, and it was a great event. We see the alumni, we see our current students. Coach Pierre was actually on the road today. He couldn't be here to talk about the field trip to France because our soccer team was playing against Boston Latin early on in the season tonight. And there's that update. And to conclude, I wanted to recognize Colin Gleason, who's on our golf team. He's been recognized by the Cape Cod Times as the top returning golf player. Just a little bit about Colin. He's an exceptional player on and off the course. He's the heart of the team and a proven leader amongst his peers. Very excited to what he's going to do this year. His resume is outstanding. He's a four-time Cape and Islands All-Star, a league MVP, and the reigning Cape Cod Boys Invitational champion, a two-time defending champion of the Martha's Vineyard Invitational. And Colin will be taking his talents to Bryant University to compete at the Division I level, and he leads our golf team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion that we adjourn?
I'll second.
Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait, roll call vote.
Yep, roll call.
Peter?
Yes.
Andre?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes. And we're adjourned. Thank you.